Yellow, is it me I'm looking for? I think we're on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Heavyweight gaming, RPG.
So he goes live and then he disappears. Love it. Love it. I don't know what your commands are.
Professionalism.
Professional, we're back. Hello, I'm still live. Hey up, Sage. Right. What are we on? Session 81. Fables Among Titans. Getting ever closer to fighting some absolutely monstrosities of Colossus. But we'll see where they go. So, social medias. If you want to follow us on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Twitters and join us in Discord and watch all that good stuff on YouTube and follow our friends on their channels and blah, 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 blah. There is a Linktree link that will appear at some point during this stream. There you go, boom. It's in the chat. Also, all the buttons beneath the stream, if you're watching it on your computer, or I think you can click about on your phone and it'll take you there. And you can push all the buttons, it'll take you to all the social medias and all that good stuff. And you can follow us. It's usually me shouting about what we're writing, what we're planning, what we want to do, what we used to do, what we're going to do in the year 30, if we're all still going rolling dice. But yeah, it'd be cool. So follow us and all that good stuff. Sponsors. We are sponsored by Loki Battle Mats. They make battle mats. They flip out the size A3, you put them on your table, you've got forests, you've got tundras, you've got towns, you've got taverns, you've got castles, you've got caverns, magic circles, lava lakes, all that good stuff. Every time they throw a Kickstarter up, immediately funded. That should tell you enough about what they do and how good they are at doing it. So go follow them on all the Twitters and stuff, check out their Kickstarters, go to their site. Brilliant. They also do digital versions of everything they make, so you can use them in your virtual tabletops, whatever you may use. So go check out Lucky Battle Mats. They are amazing. If you have a mat flipped out in front of you on a massive oaken table with 16 people around it, all dressed in, you know, whatever they want to be dressed in, with massive dice getting ready to throw them, and you want sound, right? And you want minis, we'll do the minis first. Go to Sparky & Co. If you go to Wetsy and check out Sparky & Co., the miniatures he's got lined up and printing out are just incredible. They're so amazing. And I'm really looking forward to a day my children are old enough to spend their pocket money on his minis and we can play around the table. But yeah, check out Sparky & Co. He's also throwing miniatures into our charity stream, which I'll get to in a moment. So you'll get to win some, order some, etc. Kick-ass minis. If you want sound to go with your minis and your beautiful maps, use Sirenscape. They're amazing. They are all the sound sets that you need. Dragon fights, busy towns, running water, storms at sea, elven forests, you know, siren caves, all that good stuff. Super brilliant at creating an ambience to go with your map and your minis. Same if you play digitally, you can use, while you're using Loki Battle Mats, you can also use the web player or just straight from the browser and share it with your friends, and they can also hear the music through their lovely speakers. If you do use a virtual tabletop and you are looking for tokens that can't be printed and you can stare at them beautifully but you need them on a virtual tabletop, go to Roll20's marketplace and look for Coyote Grey. The chibi tokens that he's drawn and put up there, they're amazing. I love them. I'm a massive addict of chibi artwork, and I love Coyote Grey's stuff. They're brilliant. So go check them out and bring them on in. They're amazing. Is that it? I think that's all the sponsors. Yes. Oh, you can see an example of his chibi artwork in the little slideshow in the bottom. There you go. Sapphire with a spear. It's beautiful. What are we on to next? Bits! Give me the bits, Mel.
Monkey face. Monkey face.
Monkey face. Let me get a little bit of music going. If you feel sorry for the adventurers, Monkey Face, you can donate 200 bits last year to give the party a reroll. They can't be used on the DM or death saving throws, and they don't roll over to the following week. Yeah. And we got some bits.
Thank you, Sage.
Just like that, Sage. Just like that.
Harry's going to need that.
Yep. Emotional damage incoming.
Emotional damage.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
How much are you going to make me cry? I forgot about that.
Harry versus Andrew. Here we go.
So, thank you for the bit, Sage. Every year, we do a charity stream. every year it's something like a 24-hour charity stream where it's a one-shot, or it's a 48-hour stream where we do lots of one-shots and time on games, and we get us friends involved. And we rinse and repeat this every year to try and make a few quid for the charities that mean a lot to friends and family of basically everything we do. In the last few years, since we started doing this ridiculous streaming, we've raised about £8,000 for various charities, which is ridiculous. It's amazing. No charity, no marathon runs involved. None of that. Just sat around the table digitally, throwing dice, making up stories. It's been amazing. And we're doing the same this year. Now, we're doing it for a week this year because I'm an idiot. It's going to be from the 24th to the 28th of July, noon till midnight every day. So it'll be 60 hours across that week. We'll be sat round a table in Wales, not just randomly in Wales round a table. It's at Rich and Amelia's house. It will be the continuation of our Monday night campaign when Glory is not enough. Two of them players, it's their house we're invading. And we will play, 60 hours of their campaign. The three charities we are doing it for are Shelter, who are a brilliant charity at dealing with folk in homeless situations. Papyrus, which is a charity that is for the prevention of suicide in youngsters. And MS UK, exactly as it says, is supporting folks with MS through their journey, having it as part of their life and such. Please check out those three charities. Anything, 50p is a donation that they didn't have 50p before. So whatever you can throw at it, please do. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just tell your friends about it. Rob a friend, rob a family, lie about your birthday. You know what I mean? Rob the kids on the way out of school. It's always some kid's birthday. They've got a pound in a card. For legal reasons, this was Sean's idea. But yeah, if you can tune in and you can, or at least shout about it as loud as you possibly can across social media, at work, etc., please do. And we'll try and raise as much money as we possibly can for those three charities. Right. Is that it, Mel? Have I missed anything?
Don't know. We haven't done this for a while.
I know.
Missing a Luke as well.
We are missing a Luke, who normally is pretty good at reminding me. If you are going to the UK Games Expo, which is at the beginning of June. I want to say, on the Friday. Oh shit! Let me turn that down. Holy poo!
Oh my god!
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I've just lost the ability.
There you go. Sage has got you 2nd to 4th of June.
Thank you, Sage. On the Friday, I'll be doing a talk about world building with much practice. No power slides. It'll be brilliant. And on the Sunday, I'm going to say Sunday. Or Monday. Sunday or Monday. I'll have to find out. Pretty sure it's Sunday. I'll be doing a Art of Winging It talk, which will be winged. So that'll be cool.
Are you going to prepare your talks a little bit more this time?
Nope. I've done the preparation last year. I think we're going on the Saturday. Would be the day in between when it's Edge. But yeah. So yeah, that'll be cool. I'll do a bit more shouting about that closer to the time. Is that it? We good?
Yeah.
Recap time.
Recap.
So, session 80, a mere 3 months ago. You are at the Darshal Adusian. I've forgotten what you even called half the stuff in my world. You have gone there to find out about echoes, about anything and everything that you were lacking answers in to do with all the madness that seems to be going on at the moment. You are dealing with the true, which are the true aspects of death. Not death itself, but a almost side effect of death existing. You discovered that one is known as the witness, and they want everyone to hang on their last breath and remain in their dying state eternally so they can witness it. You found out about absolution, which is when you die, lights out, nothing beyond. No clerical heavens, no celestial fields, or any such halls of paradise. Complete void, gone, done. No resurrections, nothing. You die, because that is absolute. You also discovered the harvester. If they get into this world, they will harvest everything that is living. That's just them. You've got Echo Stefan running around, having a wonderful family meal with Ari's ma and pa, and apparently Nikolai is over that way as well, and Lord Everdark. What could possibly go wrong over there? Corbin Astaroth, a personal nemesis of Ruby, and Copper Forest, somewhere over by the Ebendorf waters, also on the list of stabby. Whilst all that's on your to-do list, there is a lot of demons, killing a lot of Copper Forest Fae and a lot of Eagle Province Ravenhomians. Ravenites. Death and destruction and all that good stuff. Mita, Lord Mita, less of the Lord, a local hero of the Vey dynasty, is also at the Darshal Adusian with Cycerin. They've had a beautiful conversation with Sapphire and informed him that Senserin is still alive and kicking, and that the true aspects of death require his ability to give mercy to those that have died and bring them back to life. They want this power to do exactly that to themselves and manifest in the material realm. So we know that the Vey dynasty is sending a force to help Ravenholm, specifically the war on the other side of the Ivory Wall. Who knows how long they'll take. You've discovered that Ruby has learnt how to cast the magics on the accidental creation of the scrolls by Sapphire by taking scratchings from the blood pillars that host, or at least seem to be powered by the spirits of fallen fair creatures. And whilst they remain, it is said that Corbin Astaroth's power is extreme. What else? What else have I missed? What have you got in your notes, kids? Zandria didn't enjoy the sky ride.
looks at notes.
Ari went on a Jolly Boys outing without inviting anyone.
That's true. Ari disappeared back to the realm of echoes and had a word with his brother, or at least generations later, of Stefan, and met the many Stefans. And he informed Ari that he would be remaining in the realm of echoes as he found his peace there and control of his mind. Ari doesn't tell anyone, returned, and was somewhat saved by the fact that Ari and other folk had turned up, so a big conversation happened. You'd spoken to Mita, who is a warrior, who is a tomb guardian, a priest of death, a spirit warrior. They're like the whole order that Mita is part of. It is their role in life, their lot in the world, to make sure that death is respectful and given the respect that it deserves. There is also a use left of the soundless orb that will allow you to speak to any entity that belongs to Colossus. And it was suggested that Mita use it to speak to Malika, because the three things the true seek are a soul of nations, which the demons are currently doing on their behalf, the mercy of Sensei Rin, and the curse of the Darklings that Malika placed on a bunch of summer fair. Now, I think we left it. You were bedding down for the night, correct? After speaking with Mita, the evening meal, Mita said that they'd come with you when you called, but first they needed to speak to Malika about whether they went there themselves or used the orb.
Yeah.
Zandria was out and about. And
I think we wanted Zandria's opinion or possibly an introduction to Malika. I think
it was
Lord Mita said
suggested.
That respectfully, when Zandria had time, he might like to ask that question, I think.
Yes, worded in a way that gave Jade the opportunity to be here or asleep. So yes, so it is late evening, usually on the tip of going to bed for a long rest. if you do wish to do anything this evening, please let me know. Otherwise, we can take things up in the morning.
Got nothing.
Sapphire's going to meditate, but not like just chill meditation for a change.
Well, I believe you sank all of your key points, your last meditation.
Oh,
no,
yeah, that's fine
no,
anyway.
no, I tell a lie. You were going to, and then Kess talked you out of it, correct?
Guess did talk me out of it, and then not long after that, Sapphire was happily informed that every time he does that, he could be risking death. So
Yes.
he also went,
Small details.
so yeah, he might not be doing that for a bit.
So you're going to casually meditate.
Yeah, just literally a kind of calming, peaceful, trying to get all of the thoughts of the day out before bed. Not anything, no contacting, hopefully no astral projecting, just chill before sleep.
Cool. Anybody else?
Because I can't remember whether I actually already did this, I think I might have done already, but Ari is gonna cast his special not identify spell on his rapier from Selena. But I think I already did it. Revealing Rizzolato, there you go.
I'm pretty sure.
But I think I already did it.
I think you've
but
already
I have
done
the
it, yeah.
information. So it's just so that he can then share it with others.
Yep. That's fine. Ruby?
No. Not this
Yeah.
evening.
No, just no.
No.
And Zandria, you got nothing. Okay.
I will very much be avoiding Sandria.
So, Ari, are you casting it? Are you casting it, or are you just clarifying that you've already cast it?
Clarifying that I've already cast it, because I think I have already cast it. So I already know what the thing does.
Yeah. Okay, we can go with that.
And I think he did discuss with Kess.
Yeah, so, during the whole.
I think he discussed last time during the whole other emotional roller coaster. I don't quite remember because it's an emotional roller coaster.
All I know is my eyes were wet. So, as you all bed down for the evening, there is whilst you've been here, you've heard echoes of battle, clashing of steel and such around the ramparts of this incredibly ruined fortress. It settles upon, as the evening gets deeper, the sound of battle does seem to fade away and seems to be distant. Now you hear the sounds of actual battle coming from the valleys and plains and forests of the Eagle province. I mean, the fighting that is going on is thousands of demons against thousands of Fae and Raven home folk. The magics and the metals that are clashing echo across these valleys and up towards the cliffs of where the Darshal Adusian is sat upon. And even though it doesn't sound like it's right outside the window, the odd peak now and then, probably more from yourself, Harry, than the others. Sandria sleeps soundly. More dead humans. But every time you have a peek, can you see the little of colourful magics being wielded from one side or the other. Fire, like actual primordial fire, elemental fire rather than magical. Little torches in the forests. Bigger fires where natural means are being used when magics have been depleted and such. And it is just a reminder of what's going on.
I think he'll probably sit and watch for a little bit. Remember the conversation he's just had, where he's told not to run away and do stupid things without telling anybody, and kind of just keep an eye, like if anything would come near, but more so just kind of just thinking about everything he's talked about this evening with everyone else.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Oh geez, with a roll now.
Well, I think you've gone 2 sessions without rolling a dice, so we might as well. All these talks.
Wow, natural 1.
Nice. So you don't see the assassin in the corner, however.
That is ridiculous. Thanks, Kess Dice. You betrayed me.
What happens when you piss Kess off?
Yeah. Sat on the edge of your bed, like you say. Oh, someone's camera's gone. Genie!
Jenny!
Genie!
Well, are we all different? No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we're all different people.
well, no,
Yeah,
I'm
like-
not. I'm
like that.
still Zandria, so that's okay.
Slightly. I'm going to leave it. Jeannie will last to come in, won't she? So in
She
theory,
was.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, in theory, she should
Theoretically,
just
be
go
back.
yeah.
black.
Theoretically.
Have we received a
Yeah,
message?
I see nothing.
No.
Nope.
Laptop died.
Laptop
died.
Yeah,
There we go.
good job.
So, well, we can sort of do this. Anyone watching this is how we roll. This is how we stream. These are the standards we use. So,
Professional streamers.
as you are sat on the edge of your bed, Aristotle, not Ruby, for those staring at the screen. You are pretty much oblivious to your surroundings. Like, not one. First dice roll out the gate.
We
But
started for in like 3 sessions or something. Like,
what you feel, oh jelly, what you feel is a weight also, almost like, well, you know, if you're sat in the bed and someone sits down next to you and you kind of move because someone sits next to you. But when you look, there's nothing there, nobody there. But there was definitely something sitting. Staring at the space, you kind of just adjust. You know, your hand goes for your weapon nearby, whether it be a dagger or your scimitar. Or is it a rapier? I think she gave you, or a scimitar.
Rapier.
Rapier.
The only thing you see there is from the candlelight is your shadow caster. But the more you look, the shadow seems to be a bit more substantial. Not as much flickering as you'd expect from the candlelight. Until the shadow sits on the bed and crosses its legs and puts its limbs or its arms, just rests them, and it is sat akin to what Sapphire would look like when meditating, as in comfortable, sat cross-legged, forearms on the thing, and it is just a silhouette of your shape if you were to stand up or sit, and you can just hear a slow
kind of. This is off a nat 1. What? Ow!
That's what you get.
Imagine what
That's
else
what
is
I
happening
get.
that you're not seeing.
Yep.
yeah,
like,
pussycat.
What?
I've DM'd
My
enough to
brain
know
is
what's going
going
on
crazy.
here.
Yeah, I'm like, what? He'll kind of look at it and frown and just be like,
Looking at it, your hands feel clammy. You begin to perspire. Like, you aren't exercise sweating, you are just anxiety sweating. Like, moisture, you feel dry mouthed. You can feel that tightness in your chest, especially since, you know, doing your heroic sacrifice for Zandria. But there is definitely a emphasis in those symptoms, and you can feel your own breathing a bit slower and tighter and a bit of crackle to it. And we have a genie coming back.
Yeah.
And hopefully we should all ping back to the right place.
Good.
Hopefully.
I was feeling very
Yeah.
slutty being Aristotle for a bit.
Just what are you doing, Sapphire? I tie it up with anyone in the bar.
I'm going to go concert bat with a rapier and be
Yeah.
slutty.
you're gonna get shouted at by Zandria. It's
Oh yeah,
okay.
that's next. No, you can have that back.
Yeah.
Like Sapphire's like, no,
Switch it back,
fuck
switch it back, switch it
that.
back. Welcome back, Ginny.
Thank you. Did I miss anything good?
Ari's about to, converse.
Off a nat 1, Ari is seeing like a shadow version of themselves. It sounds like sitting on their bed and then getting
Off
up.
a
And,
nat 1.
yeah, so
His shadow has decided to.
yeah, Ari's Peter
Big
Panning
ends.
at the moment.
Having a Peter Pan moment, yeah.
And yeah, we were just talking about how that's off a nat 1. So what the fuck is going on that he's not
Yeah.
seeing?
So yeah, well, I never did give that haunted Ouija board a surname, so maybe that runs in the family.
Jesus. No, because I play with that one. No.
So what are you doing, Ari?
He'll kind of just stare at it and like be very conscious of his breath, and then might kind of kind of instinctively just reach out a hand and kind of like light a candle that's in the room. Prestidigitation, I can't say. But Harry doesn't cast spells specifically, he just acts on instinct like a bitch.
So the only one candle in the room that's lit, causing the shadow, as you point to another to try and light and give yourself more light in the room.
Better.
It's as if the wick is damp and won't take. There's a spark.
I don't think he's ever actually
and
done
then
it
it
before,
smokes.
so it's probably
You can feel your
well, he just-
connection to like it happening, but count as a strong description. It's more the components don't seem to match as what would be needed to even cast a simple cantrip. It's just feels too much effort, and it is like you've lifted, like your arm feels heavy as you point at the candle, as if you've exerted yourself. And you feel that first time when you did what you did for Xandria, that potency. And you feel very, very out of breath. You haven't yet started coughing, as what you've come to notice is it kind of starts slow and builds up. Sometimes it just surprises you, but you just feel really, really tight-chested. It's everything. All your limbs feel super heavy, and the shadow just rocks backwards and forwards on the bed.
Phone calls like this.
Make a lot of money.
He'll kind of just side-eye it and just like kind of try and ask Xandria about it, because he knows that Xandria's gone through this before, but she never spoke about seeing shadows of herself.
You assume she saw shadows of herself.
I mean, yeah, Harry's a dumb bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, you assume
think
she
if
would
he'd-
tell anyone about it if she did.
Also that too.
There are no shadows in the light of summer.
I'm trying to think
Facts.
now if he remembers the talk about the dark things. Question. Another talk. Well, this is the problem. We haven't played for a bit, so I can't remember. What
Nobody
was just
remembers.
said.
Yeah, because I know Kess was there, but I can't remember if Harry was there for that talk.
Which talk?
No, but I think there was like a one recently about the dark things and about how they were obviously to do with Malika.
So you're definitely there for the Darkling talk, because that was last session when me two had you all around the
Hmm.
table. Only Xandria wasn't there. But I don't think you were there when Xandria asked her mother about her dreams and the shadow
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah,
No,
so
that was specifically, but we were there for the talk of the dark
the Darklings and the
with,
curse and the
yeah.
well, Mita didn't name Malika, just simply said the Archfey of Summer.
the summer,
yeah.
the summer said,
Yeah.
that was it. Because one of the summer is part of the plan. So yeah, because that's what I was trying to think of. I was like, did we? Because then it would be fresh in his mind to be like, okay, the curse of Darklings, and he's just like, kind of looking at it and just being like, am I going to become a Darkling? Great. Harry likes to run away from things, but Harry's just had a talk about running away from things. So Harry's just going to sit there and just stare it out.
I love how he's completely missed the point, because what we actually meant was if this happened, you come and get us. You...
I know.
But
Yep.
Ari is a child of learning, and will always be.
He might, though. He might, if he thinks about it, try and send a message to Ruby. Bear in mind, she's got to be within 120 feet. But he still might try and do it.
122 feet away.
Yeah. Just so
He might try and do it. And again, instinctively, just be like, Ruby, there's something really fucking weird in my room. Please come and help.
Ruby, you don't hear anything. What you hear, Ari? Ruby, there's something weird in my room. Come help.
That's gonna scare the shit out of him, and he's gonna leave the room and go and actually get Ruby.
So, just so you know, it's at this point that Harry realizes he's exhausted.
Yeah.
And if there was a level of exhaustion on a scale of 1 to 6, your exhaustion level is 5.
Oh shit!
Fucking
Oh,
hell!
shit.
I genuinely don't think I've ever encountered it.
I don't
So-
even know what that
Oh.
means.
I will
I have
t-
to Google
I
that.
will tell you.
Please tell me.
You
Yeah.
have disadvantage on ability checks. Your speed is
Reduces
0.
0.
You
Oh.
have disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws, and your current hit point maximum is halved.
Halved.
There are only 6 levels of exhaustion. Level 6
Yeah.
is death.
Death.
I was going to say, I know what level 6 is.
Yeah.
But I think I've only ever got up
my.
to 2, maybe. Jesus.
Yeah.
I've got like
Christ.
3, I think, before, but
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you are
mhm.
super
In my other
drained.
game. Oh boy.
Even trying to get off the bed
I was gonna say
is
he'll try and get up, and then obviously
just
fail.
slump.
Yeah.
And the shadow
Um,
just ushers itself, like still crossed, like arms on the soft mattress, and just kind of pushes itself towards you.
No, he's back. He's backing up as best he can. He's like shuffling
Arms.
across the floor, like.
Just follows you around as you slump and fall off the bed, hit the floor, and you're now in a prone state. And your speed, I will say, is in this moment a little bit of adrenaline kicking in. It's not 0, but it's about 30 centimeters. Like it's like you are like nails clawing into the wood
Yeah,
sort
like
of movement.
trying to like
Minus
pull
2,
himself
we'll go with
across.
that.
Jesus.
But whilst
got-
you are failing miserably at crawling your way
Yeah.
out of the room, the shadow just steps next to you and just crouches down and is watching you. No eyes, no mouth, no detail, just a silhouette.
What did you say then? Sorry.
Yeah, you cut out.
Headphone went.
Just a breathing sound again.
Just breathing.
Yeah.
Oh, delightful.
Mm.
Like, I think Harry will try everything in his core to try and move as far away as he can. So he'll try expedition retreat. He'll try all the things he doesn't even know he can actually do.
So what's
Yay.
Expeditious Retreat? Is it magical or is it just you being...
It's me being Speedy Boy, I think. It is no, it's a magical thing, but I haven't got the card for it because I never use. Oh wait, I have got the card for it. Basically bonus action dash. That's why I don't use it. As
Okay.
rogue.
Cool.
He'll try healing himself. He'll try like
As you are
everything
in panic mode,
got-
the shadow does this on your back. You looking? Just walks their fingers across your back. And that's just in your
Very
ear.
Ew.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, everything
Hey.
about this is grim.
hate. Oh my god, what else would he try? Like, just like, what else does he have that I have never used?
Eye contact. Aggressively wank.
No.
That's the way forward.
Oh.
No,
You know,
I-
Ari could
Do you know how
just
that is at level 5
shout.
exhaustion?
Oh yeah, that's true. What level of exhaustion do you stop being able to?
Isn't it a free? Isn't screaming a free action?
Time's a free action too.
could just
Right.
attempt to shout.
I mean, yes, that's like I said. If he's trying to message people, he's trying to like get somebody in there, and he will definitely like he'll try everything he possibly can. So he will like just yell.
As soon as you
Just be
go
like-
to yell, you retch and vomit the black, thick,
Delightful.
tar-like substance, and it is not a spittle of this black stuff. Every time you go to make noise, you vomit forth pints of it, almost like choking on it, drowned in on land, as it were. And then once it settles, that exhaustion kicks in again. And you just hear from the shadow, tutting.
Bet you regret your choice now, don't you, Harry?
Yeah, he'll like try and move as far away as he can. He'll try basically just keep trying this for like as long as he can until he passes out.
Give me
Level 6.
Give me, yeah. I mean, it's passed out. Give me a Constitution saving throw, please. At disadvantage.
Of course, yeah, because it's yeah.
There's a lot going on. I can only put one disadvantage on it.
Do you know what? It's fucking natural 20 in there, but you know. There's also 16, so that's not too bad. That is a 17 altogether.
Okay. So if your plan is to keep going until you pass out, you've essentially given yourself a bit more time. You are unable to move, as you've discovered, and it is that sheer frustration of just cannot move. You're
totally panicking. Like he's just panicking.
The more you panic and the more you scream, the more tar-like substance comes out and oil-like liquid surrounds you until you are soaked and in a pool of it. And all the shadow does is breathe and walk its fingers across your back, kind of scruffles your hair, walks back down your back, just pats you when you're coughing. And then just before you pass out, you have the familiar smell, kind of like takes you a little while to associate the memory, but it reminds you of the summer oasis. And you pass out. Sapphire.
Now it's time for your nightmare.
Damn it!
Your turn.
Okay, yep, fair.
In your meditation, you are not using your key. You are, for the first time in a long while, practicing the relaxation side of meditation.
Yep.
And just trying to center yourself after every time you dip into this this art form, this way of settling one's spirit and soul and zen, and just bringing yourself to a place of calm, which you practice many times, being the reason you went there in the first place, to control your inner rage. You settle. You almost not block your key, but put a gentle barrier up to say, no, this is all natural today. But there is a force that pushes back, and it's not from your key. It is incredibly personal and intimate and relatable to your existence. Aren't I, Ginger? You open your eyes, and before you've seen a sign of Viconia, tundras, evergreen forests. You see a rock sticking out of the snow, jagged at an angle. In the crook of where the snow is and the rock sticks out, just like using it as shelter sat here, you see, holding their knees, a white lioness, blonde hair, similar to your own fur, more matching your mother's blonde. It's okay, Samson. It's okay, mate. It's all right, dude. Yeah, Sam. Look at me, dude. It's all right. It's all right. You get dressed, mate. It's fine. Just get changed. I know, mate. It's okay. It's all right, mate. It's all right. You just get your jammies on, yeah? Yeah? Good lad. And you see Soul Taker.
Soul Taker, can you hear me? Am I here? Am I there?
You can. The sounds you hear they don't match. So, like, if a bird flies past, there's a delayed flapping of wings. Maybe 10 seconds later, it's out of sync. The only thing not out of sync is Soul Taker. No night, mate. No night. The only thing not out of sync, is Soul Taker. She's just kind of rocking there. Her shoulders are kind of moving up and down as if she is sobbing.
I'm gonna, I guess, try and walk over to her and just put an arm on her, put a hand on her shoulder.
So as you walk across the scene, you bump into things and you look down, and there's nothing in front of you as your paws, booted or otherwise, are making prints in the snow, and you realise it's probably furniture of the room, and you're actually walking rather than projecting yourself. You get to realising this, you put your hand out in front of you and try to remember the layout of the room. It's not a complicated room, simple bed, a couple of drawers. And you put your hand out and you get to a wall. And you know you're at the wall of the room, but you can see Soul Taker beyond the wall. And again you reach out to her, Soul Taker, Soul Taker. And she stops crying for a moment, brushes the wet fur from her eyes as she looks around. And as she stands up and strides from beneath the rock and she's looking around. Sapphire? She doesn't look startled or like rushing around seeing if you're hiding somewhere. It's a bit of, did she hear you? Did she not?
Oh, crap. Okay, Sapphire's going to try and put some key into this now.
How many points?
Just the one to start with.
Okay. As you put the 1 point in, and you feel that that moment where you make yourself present in your meditations, that you've essentially mastered up to this point. You can kind of just do it. You know, you feel comfortable and confident when you're in your meditations. But what it also tells you is the wall in front of you becomes soft rather than solid wood. You don't go through it, but it's got that thick, almost sand when you push the sand, and it goes so far, but you sink into it a little bit before it gives resistance.
I'll try calling out to her again, see if it's a little bit more clear to her.
She looks in your direction, but it's clear that she doesn't see you, and she comes towards you. She has a spear in hand. She's just looking about. Sapphire? Sapphire? And she crouches down a little bit. And you can see her sniff in the air. And she comes a little bit closer to where you are, but clearly she can't see you.
I'll put another 2 points in and tell her that it's going to be okay.
As you call upon your key, the area on which you are pushing against, you are met with a rush of freezing cold air. It is full on, this is familiar. And your wonderful wet nose is like, it's been a while. But you have essentially given yourself a portal or an archway, not a magical portal as in a doorway portal, to Soul Taker in front of you. She sees you and is immediately ready for a fight. The fact that Sapphire, her brother, has just apparated on the snow. Looking behind you, you see the room, but you feel the breeze of the tundras hitting your back as well as they swirl about you. There is nothing that you recognise about the geography in front of you. There are plenty of evergreen forests, there's plenty of snowy tundras and plenty of jagged rocks sticking out of the ground. Nothing is overly familiar other than the climate itself.
I can't stay for long. I don't know how well you can hear me.
She stands up straight. She puts the spear in the ground. I hear you fine, and I see you fine. What are you doing here?
I think you may have accidentally reached out to me. I was just meditating ready for bed. I wasn't trying to be here.
She looks confused. and she turns her body. Give me an insight check.
Ooh, first roll. What's my
Don't
insight?
roll one.
21.
21.
Yeah.
She turns her body sideways on. At first, you thought it was, hey up, she's taking a stance. She's not. She's hiding her left hip from you. She turns to hide that side of it, and you can see her left hand go down and kind of shield that area, and she's now sideways on facing you. Like I say, initially you were like, is she going to attack? The way she just positioned herself. But it's clear she's just kind of turning to hide and still converse with you. I don't know how to reach out to you.
Sam says he loves you.
Okay.
I don't think it's something you do intentionally. There's been a couple of times when I've been trying to clear my mind and I have got a sense of you or gotten a quick glimpse of you. I saw you walking across the tundras with a train of souls chained behind you. And I've seen you breaking down into tears more than once, sister.
Gets windy around here, you know that.
This isn't the only place I've seen you. This isn't the only place you've had that same problem. And now you're hiding things from me as well.
Give us a moment. I'm not hiding anything. There's a difference. It just says that.
So Sapphire's gonna keep talking, but as he's talking, he's gonna start gently circling. Just we're working on the problem. I think we can solve this without this drawing you into it any more than it already has.
She mimics your, or mirrors your sort of angling. She stays near her spear, which is still stuck in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
There's no problem. I do what I do, and you do what you do. She looks towards where you stepped from.
I quick glance over my shoulder back to where I was, and then look back towards her.
There is a almost tear in the. I imagine there was a picture of Viconian like landscape, and a small tear in it, and you see your room at the Dark Shaladusian. And she can, by the looks of it, is reacting as if she can see it as well. On your 21 insight.
Look, I don't know how safe it is for me to be here right now. Every time I do this, I'm apparently putting myself at risk, and without the three that are death will be trying to watch. I think we can fix this. Be open and honest with me. Let's sort this out together.
I don't know what you're talking about, brother. You should probably go back to your friends. She nudges towards. There is an immense amount of distrust of you coming from Soultaker. Not like when you met her at the meeting before.
I was going to say, this hasn't, like, I haven't gotten this kind of air about her before, have I? I'm going to try and do something really weird.
Go for it.
As if, meditating and communicating with my sister on the other side of the world is a normal thing. I am going to use a key point, but not for the meditation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it into a step of the wind and do monk speed. Try and get around her. See what she's hiding.
Okay. I just need to check something on.
That's fine.
On Soultaker.
That's fair.
How fast she is.
So yeah, I'm not a not a tabaxi anymore, so I can't double it 3 times. But
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, look,
Now
the
that-
flash.
yeah, ever since Leonin came out, it made more sense. But yeah, so Step of the Wind, and we'll dash, so it will be triple my normal.
What's that,
So
90 feet?
90, yeah, 90 feet in 6 seconds. And that's him nerfed.
Okay, I know it's ridiculous. Give me a dexterity check
Oh,
with
okay.
advantage, and hers will be at disadvantage. Well, I'll be taking the nat one.
Oh, I'm glad that was with advantage. That was
7 and a 1. Come on, Soul Taker. Like,
oh, I got a 22 and a 7, so I'm glad that was advantage.
right, that's good.
That would have been awkward.
As you move, she is well versed in combat, so she reads your action, but you're far quicker than she is. Her abilities lie more in standing in front of the thing. And are you kind of just trying to get behind her to see, so you're going to finish on that side, or? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Not even trying to move closer necessarily. So keeping the same amount of distance, just going around, so I can get a glimpse of what she's trying to hide.
What is the distance you're keeping?
I probably would have stopped about 10 foot away from her and seen how she reacted to that. Like when I was first approaching, I probably wouldn't have come too close because she seems standoffish.
She reads the situation that you're lightning. So because she can't maneuver herself to hide what she was trying to hide, when you find yourself on the other side of her, you see what she is hiding. But you also see the tip of a spear pointing at you.
Okay.
So she was unable to be quicker than you, but her spear gives her the ability to just, be prepared. But what you see hiding is on her hip, there is just from the first glance, is a pouch, but there it is almost made of hessian, and you can see light just glowing from it, as if it is filled with as many marbles of light as could fit in a pouch.
She's gotten more efficient with carrying souls. Cool.
So the last time you've seen souls being carried by Soul Taker, it was poetic, and there was a soul train leading behind her. Now you see her physically, well, I mean, if that's your assumption, carrying these marbles of light.
So upon seeing the spear come up, Sapphire just hands up, just looking.
She's aware that your eyes fell upon the pouch. Don't do this, brother.
This isn't your duty. Like, I know why you're doing this. I know you're doing it for Viconia, but we can stop this in a different way.
There is absolutely no reaction in her eyes when you say, I know you're doing this for Viconia.
I can't stay any longer, but I am still in Ravenholm, and I've seen the destruction that they're causing already. It's getting worse. We can stop them. If you do what you do, the entire world is just fucked.
She doesn't react. Give me another insight check with advantage.
17 plus 4. Yeah, 21. Almost like wisdom is a monk's jam.
She is empty of care for your words.
Oh.
They just don't land on anything. You might as well have just whistled.
Damn.
So Sapphire's about to cut off the connection and try and force himself out of the meditation, but the last thing he says before he does is, "We can stop this. Don't get in the way." And he vanishes if he can, I guess.
As you are fading back into your room, you hear her say, "Ditto."
Oh,
Oh, that's a lovely note to go to sleep on.
sibling fight.
And the tundra fades away. You bring yourself back. You have become well versed in this.
Mm-hmm.
The tear closes, and you are left staring at a wooden wall. No sign of your sister or Viconia.
So now that he's done the more mature thing, Sapphire's going to stand up, walk over to the bed, flomp down face first, like a fucking teenager.
Just pay out the window.
Yep, done. This is too many emotions today.
The night passes. Kesvion is assassinated in his sleep. You wake up in the morning. You can hear the sounds of the students and the mentors getting ready, breakfast being put on. At some point, you may remember a knock on your door letting you know breakfast was ready. You can't quite remember, but probably Ruby, to be fair, rather than one of the students. Ruby had been up and at him. Harry, you're still on the floor. You are no longer any level of exhaustion other than just being knackered, rather than a status effect. You are just very, very tired. But it is everywhere. Not on the bed, just all over the floor. Pools and pools of it. And you ain't that... Well, you are pretty crispy in your lovely shirt and stuff.
Lovely.
The candle is exactly the same as it was when it was lit and the shadow was there. It has not burnt down. It's still lit, but it has not moved a millimetre.
You blow it out.
As you blow it out, you hear a wind, a small, some call it a breeze, behind you, and you can smell the spices of the camp of Xandria and Kesvion when you went to Surut.
The smell, not the character.
Yeah. But it is morning time. You can hear the sounds of soldiers and metal clanging together, and you can hear camaraderie between hundreds of soldiers getting ready for battle, but it's all just sound. There's no people to see. If you haven't... Yeah, you arrive later on in the day. Yeah. So yeah, you just hear them getting ready for battle. You can't, every now and then you'll check, but you kind of just got used to it being the ambience of the place now.
Harry will, before he leaves the room, change his clothes, try and tidy himself up as much as he can, and then actually go and get a bucket and a scrubbing brush from the kitchen or whatever, and just be like, I guess I need to clean up. Woo. But he'll try and obviously sneak down to do that.
Give me a stealth check.
Past Ruby, probably. I'm not exhausted anymore, am I?
Nope. It's your normal rolling.
Right. Oh, it's not bad. None. I forgot that he's ridiculous. 22.
That's cool.
I rolled a 9.
Jesus. Amazing. You avoid your friends. Make your way down to the kitchen areas, and you find mop and bucket, as it were.
Yeah. You'll find stuff to basically clean up, and essentially go upstairs and clean up everything. He'll wring his shirt out. He'll because he's nothing if not a stickler for being clean anyway. So this is just disgusting to him. But equally he's don't want to come back in this room and find all this everywhere anyway. So yeah, he'll basically clean up everything before he goes down to get some food.
Yeah, fair. Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
Xandria is most likely, since obviously she'll have been up for quite a few hours at this point. Xandria will be like just preparing her armor, preparing her axe, doing a little bit of training, doing a little bit of warm up. Because it's been a while since she's actually just took a moment to like prep. Because we keep getting flung into stuff, so she's like preparing, knowing that there's like the battle outside, essentially.
Okay. So, poking your head out, you realise that it is just sound ambience. You look around for these people getting ready for a fight, and you're like buckling your leather on and just sorting yourself out, and you can hear like coming down the corridor 2 or 3 heavy-footed whoever, like clanking in metal, come past your doorway, but you see nothing. You're looking around the place, but you can hear it all around you. Reminiscent to when you go getting ready for hunts, going out to the dunes and stuff. There's that hustle and bustle, but there's no one you see. But yeah, you finish preparing yourself. You feel vibrant, no longer being in the sky, and no longer whatever Harry's got going on. Ruby?
Ruby this morning is going looking for 2 things. One is a library and the other is Cyserum.
Okay. Give me an investigation check for the library.
I think that was a 20. The light in here is so bad. I'm pretty sure that's a 20.
That old chestnut. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Investigation's an intelligence-based one, isn't it?
Likely, yeah.
Yeah, so flat 17 then.
That's all right. So, having a potter around the place, you can see that the students are doing chores, essentially. It's morning time. Like, things need to be done. It reminds you esque of being back home and everyone doing their bit in the morning to get ready for the day and stuff. And just pottering around, you do find bear in mind this is a ruin, but you do find a couple of rooms that are kind of well maintained and have been put back together. You can see fresher woods and stones have been moved there to make them better. Popping your head in, you do see that there is it's definitely a library for Ruby, I'd say. Like, there is a ton of scrolls, books, a few parchments put together. The libraries of the Highlands are voice, like they are memories. They're places you go and commit your memory rather than write them down. But you are aware that this would be definitely library-esque. And if you give me a perception check to see where Cyserin is, he's also been assassinated.
Perception. Sorry, I have got.
This will be up through the yin.
I brought everything out. I know I've had a long rest as well, so I can. Oh yeah. That is a 19.
19. You see Cyserin talking to the Loxodon that you all saw before. The like heavily scarred, very similar attire to, or similar style to, not style. Whereas Sapphire doesn't wear armour, neither does the Loxodon. And the Loxodon is doing this with her arms and clearly gesturing and being very animated about whatever it is they're saying to Cyserin. And Cyserin is like nodding away, looking up at this 8-foot elephant-headed monster. But is there out of politeness more than anything else, it seems. I mean, you've seen enough moments with siblings and friends and family where people have just been polite and nodding and yeah, this conversation's lovely, and you know, you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And you can see a mile away Cyserin is just been nice to this Loxodon. And then the Loxodon pulls a greatsword and swings it past Siserin's head, who ducks, not necessarily needing to duck, but is very like ooh and ah for the Loxodon storytelling.
She'll watch for a moment and deciding like, does she go and rescue him, or does she wait for this conversation to like actually end? But she will, if it doesn't look like it's wrapping up anytime soon, she will go and basically just politely interrupt and say that she needs Siserin's help, please. If he's got a moment.
There is definitely a moment where you think it's coming to an end, and you can see that Siserin is like hanging on every word, ready to give the big applause. And the Loxodon goes into chapter 2. And that's your cue to go, I'll go over. As you walk over. What do you say?
At this point, just nothing consequential, because she's basically just waiting for this other person to leave, so it's just a, sorry, can I borrow you for a moment, kind of.
As you approach, the Loxodon is like mid-swing with the sword, and you hear like the half the sentence of, and then I tore them apart, placed them on my tusks, and screamed at the dragon. And Siserin's like, yeah, dragons, Colossus, they don't, sounds, oh, Ruby, and like straightens his kimono, look, good morning, Ruby, this is Ramona. And you just see the Loxodon like chest back. I am Ramona of Nabat, and does this long, like, quite graceful, like, bow to you, and then stands there, plants the greatsword, tip of the copper blade in the ground, and just smiles like a crooked smile, tusk just sort of like spinning, and just goes quiet.
Ruby smiles back, introduces herself, and says, I didn't want to interrupt, I just need to borrow. Sorry.
Of course. Sorry, Ramona. Yes, Ruby, and the story was lovely. Thank you. But I will clearly return. I'll return for the second part later. Sorry, you need help, Ruby? And Siserin is almost praying in front of you to be taken away from this.
Is Siserin just like sweating nervously? Because that's the feeling I get. Just
Sai is not in a great situation. Sai does not like these situations.
So yeah, it's like as they walk away, as soon as they're out of earshot, Ruby basically is just, this is Ruby's actual greeting. Sapphire says you're clever and know about books.
not wrong.
I mean, I do like books. Don't know about clever though. Is it? Are you? I have some books. Do you want a book? He looks completely like, and you can like half see his feet turning and kicking the ground.
I wants to find some things out, and I can only read as much as Kess has had time to show me. So I need someone to come and actually look things up for me.
Yes, I'm very good at that. Sapphire gets me to do it all the time. Do you have where do you want to?
Ruby will just walk to the nearest one, because this is, as far as Ruby's concerned, this is how library works. Clever person, put in room of books, knowledge is forthcoming.
Yeah. You're about to be disappointed. So Simon follows you, keeps looking over his shoulders to see if Ramona's. Yeah, and you can now see that Ramona is now just going through some practice moves with the greatsword, and he doesn't do it on purpose, but kind of lets out a long breath of phew, and follows you over to where you found this library. Opening the door, you gesture, and he's looking around the place. Yeah, this. Is there a particular book you want me to find or to read, or you said you wanted me to find something out? Is
sort of that where the peacock feather is braided into her hair, because I'm not sure, because she would never have seen one in person. I'm not sure if Ruby would know what a peacock is called, but then she did know what a whale is, so it's kind of a...
Give me a religion check.
Based on intelligence or based on wisdom?
This is wisdom.
Um,
Because you are right, she's never seen one, but there may be a reason she knows.
so, hold on. No, that's a saving throw modifier, so that will be a 14.
So even though you've, as said, never physically seen a peacock in front of you, when you try to bring like the words forward to tell Cycerin about the peacock feather and such, you see in your, when you're about to describe something, you kind of get that picture in your mind as reference before you describe it to someone. You see a gorgeous the blue and green eyes of this beautiful, absolute specimen of a peacock. It is like, even for yourself, like, did I really imagine that sort of moment of holy shit? And now you know what a peacock looks like. You know it, like,
And I know what it's called.
as if you've always known it. You know it's a peacock. You know you've a little bit confused because, like you say, you've never seen one. But that image, that memory, that thing in your mind is as real and vibrant as the stars themselves.
Old Oak knows what a peacock is.
So, given that she does apparently now know what a peacock is called, instead of pointing at the feather and saying, I want to know about these birds, but still sort of like idly playing with the one in her hair, I want to know about peacocks and about talking to people as isn't there.
I can definitely. We have peacocks in the dynasty. They're a beautiful bird. As for talk, yes, I can definitely. And he pulls out a very small piece of parchment that he using his little finger is scribing on, and you can just see scripture. I mean, you obviously, like, Ruby can't read it, but he's making notes. And when you say talking to people that are not there, do you mean visible people, dead people, the echoes that Sapphire's been talking about? Sorry for all the questions. Just the more you tell me, the better I can get your answer.
Oh, we thought... Well, we know he wasn't dead. Because Toodles, she was clear that it wasn't a dying, but it was a passing. But he moved on, and sometimes, when I want help, I can talk to someone I used to know.
Okay. Starts making more notes. Do they have a name or physical features?
His name's O'Carrion. Big lad, looks like a tree. I see those smirks. Is she lying?
He now looks like a tree. He used to look like a satire, but
He definitely always had that tree kind of vibe, though.
Yeah, it definitely fits. Big tree called Orcarian.
He was the spirit of the first oak tree.
Sorry, for a moment I thought Sapphire would put you up to this, but okay, I can look into that. Definitely.
Like something to do.
Do you do you need to know really fast, or I mean, hopefully the information's here. I can message some friends of mine that they.
Ruby just kind of shrugs because she doesn't know when everyone wants to leave and go do mental things.
So, Ocarian, big tree, peacocks. Anything else? Cool. I'll get started right away.
I could bring tea.
Yes, tea would be lovely.
All right, yeah, Ruby's sorted. She knows what she's doing now.
Yep.
Someone wants a cup of tea, that can happen.
If you look over his shoulder, size like that. There goes my Ruby. So, he immediately pulls a 3-legged stool that's covered in dust, just pulls it away from the corner it's kind of wedged in, wipes the dust off as much as he can, and just starts pulling books and scrolls and starts flicking through them. Seems to be rather efficient, like someone who just, like when you go to sort the cows out or the lambs or whatever, just efficient. And you pot her off to get tea. Go on.
Yeah, unless anyone sort of like intercepts her, she'll bring the tea back, and then she'll sort of like sit there out of the way, but like Xandria was going through her stuff. Yeah, the packets of herbs, and like maybe clumsily trying to label them with a word like Cass has shown her instead of with the pictures that she normally.
That's pretty cool.
Just like sorting her stuff out.
Are you actively trying to write? Is Ruby trying to write?
She will at first, and then depending on how well or badly that goes, she will either stop or give me
a dexterity
going.
check. Just flat deck D20 plus your dex modifier.
These are absolutely wasted.
29.
On like the most. My dex is not that high. I'm not dexterous. No, my dex is, so that's a 22.
22.
Yeah.
And what are you trying to write? The word Kess?
No, the name of whatever plant.
Okay.
Like she's got one of her little packets and she's labeling it.
Dandelion. First word out of the bag. 24 letters. It is rather well written. Like.
She's been practicing.
It is.
Probably Cass made her sit down and shut up for 5.
Yeah. So yeah, you managed to write down whatever the name of the herb is at the time you are doing very well. You kind of do that, and then carry on doing your kit check. Before we move on and see what happens in the library with Colonel Mustard and the candlestick, we are going to have a quick break, a little bio break, and grab a brew, and then we shall return. Where is it? Break time. Bye-bye. See you soon. Don't go away.
Yeah, we're here to be nerds, guys.
We're back now. We're back. Hello, nerds of the whatever this is.
Internet.
Excuse me. Just before the break, Sapphire meditated. Shock. Aristotle nearly died. Even more shock. Ruby hasn't turned anyone into a death tree yet. Working on it though. Shock.
Days young.
Sandrio's getting ready for a fight with invisible spirit. Shock. Kess has
Like
finished
past
his
the armor
crochet.
polish and it like
Yeah.
floats across the table.
Yeah. So we have Ruby with Cycerin in the library, as it were, of the Dar Shaladusian. Ari, you are still cleaning up the goop. Zandria, you've got yourself ready and, you know, right. We got a raid! Explore the Beyond is raiding with a party of 14. Raid
Hey, everybody.
time! Thank you for the follow. From, what was that? I don't know who followed. It popped up on my screen.
Bursia TV. I probably butchered that.
Yeah, we'll go with that, but thanks for the follow. It's gravy time. I've got some emojis I'm going to do here, and you lot tell me what you want to do. Is that gravy raid? Gravy raid. Boom. Right, so, Ari, you're cleaning up your goop. Ruby, you're in the library. Zandria, you're looking for a fight. Sapphire, it's the morning after your wonderful meditations. What are you doing? 3, 2, 1, go.
Sapphire's going to go for a chill breakfast. Very much not going to look at anyone for a while.
Not fancy spending any key points over breakfast? No.
No, we're good. Spend some key to eat breakfast really fast.
Yeah.
Curios?
I really
Nice.
want him to. I really want him to walk past the library, just be like. But
Give me a perception check.
Oh shit! I need to stop making jokes about shit. 17.
17. On your way to what they're using as the dining hall of this ruined castle, you do see Cycerin and Ruby in a room full of books and such.
Please tell me Sapphire's going to walk past, look at them, and then finger gun the pair of them. Please.
Like, literally, he's going to try and get it so that he can see Sai and not Ruby. Because he is going to be like... just keep
in
going.
And
doing
then
so,
as you walk away, Ruby goes, "Morning, Sapphire."
Hi, Ruby!
Not stealthy at all.
with your
Nope.
with your passive perception, Ruby, you notice Sai Sarin for no reason go beetroot.
Absolutely fucking love it. But yeah, other than that, just going to go chill, have breakfast. If other people show up, well, we'll see if they show up, I guess.
So, sat at the table, already diving into some oats. There's like 3 bowls of oats in front of this grey orc. You know this grey orc from their grey skin, and dark hair to be one of the orcs of Savai. They are a Natash orc. Short black hair. Deep brown eyes, and they are, whilst eating from these 3 bowls of oats, they've got 3 orbs of like a real dark ivy green sort of light, and they're just juggling in one hand these 3 orbs and eating their oats. They have a very Aristotle vibe about them. They've kind of got that natural sort of smouldering look that's just permanently fixed as they're just eating their oats and juggling these orbs of light.
Okay, gonna, like, not same table or anything, but nearby so I can snoop.
So you can snoop. Cool. You walk past them, sit down. You can see the various others, the mentors and the students you saw from before, all doing the same sort of. They're bringing cutlery to the table. They're serving. They're filling bowls with oats, and there's fruits that are brought out. Everything looks fresh and, Peter Panny. Like, there is an abundance of food here, despite being the fiendish battles going on a couple miles away. They seem to be able to summon whatever they wish to eat and drink. But the breakfast tables are laden with food. There's no sign of Arya. You saw Ruby with Cicerin. There's no sign of Kesvion. The last you saw of Kes was taking his crocheting back to his room. And Xandria, what are you doing?
Is Ari in the area, in the vicinity of breakfast?
No.
Has he come down yet? He hasn't come
Ari
down
hasn't
yet.
come down yet. But you can have a quick pop and you see Sapphire in the breakfast hall. You see Ruby and the one that Sapphire introduced you to as Cicerin.
Yeah, if Xandria does not see Ari down at the breakfast room, then she is naturally going to be like, okay, better go and see where he is.
Okay, you go to Ari's room. You can hear... I wasn't going to say what I was going to say. You can hear cleaning up going on the other side. I nearly said squelching noises. I was like... What? But I didn't, all right?
But you did. It's just not in the context. That
So you can hear Ari is cleaning up whatever in the room, moving furniture, making a bit of noise.
Okay. I will knock on the door.
Ari, there's a knock on the door.
Is there?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's shocking.
Let's get his pantomime on. Oh no, there isn't. So yeah.
He will kind of like look around, like check that it's clean enough, and it probably is. To be fair, he's probably just being like anal at this point. Wrong word. But he's probably being fastidious, shall we say.
Okay.
He will look around and he'll just be like, oh, it's fine. So just be like, come in.
Xandria will open the door. Now, bearing in mind, obviously, Xandria is very well averse to the vomiting of blood and tar and rainbow shit. Is there any sight, smell,
Give me a perception
hint?
check.
Perception? With my, +6, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, it's a 24.
So as pristine as Harry is trying to make it, just out of habit from being a nipper and liking things pristine, there is a presence, a vibe, an order, a memory. It is all there.
Probably like bits in the back of his head. It's probably
As
not
much
seen.
as the room is beautiful, Harry looks like you can just see like the shirt that's kind of been bundled and put out the way, just like the sleeve hanging out with the tar on it and stuff, or like Harry says, there's a little bit like just a little something about Mary on the hair.
When did it start?
Gonna... Last night.
How long after you went to bed?
I didn't really make it to bed.
In that case, what were you doing to cause the reaction? Because it doesn't normally just happen for the sake of happening.
I just sat on my bed. It sat next to me.
It?
This shadow thing.
Adi, does Xandria know what Ari is alluding to? Because I don't think Xandria ever,
So Xandria's
at
never,
least whilst we've been playing, Xandria's never had a shadow.
Never physically seen anything manifest.
That's what I needed. Thank
Has
you.
mostly only ever known it as an illness until the information passed on to her about her mother. From her mother, sorry.
Mother. Yeah, yeah. So you had something manifest in the room with you, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You haven't had that?
No worry. In all the time that I had the illness, which bearing in mind was over a century, not once did I have something manifest out of it.
Right. Right. That's what I need.
What did it look like?
It was just dark and a shadow, and I think it was me. Like, it reminded me of myself. It moved like me.
Did it speak?
I couldn't do anything. I literally could not do anything. And it kept... I tried to message Ruby, it just repeated my words back to me in my head as though I was speaking to it. It kept, like, putting its fingers across my back. I kind of, like, shudder as he does it. Because it's just... absolutely creeped out. Like, I tried to do everything and I couldn't move, and just... It was just kind of like, I'll just hug her, because he's actually glad to see another person.
I was literally about to say Xandria is just going to silently hug
Aww.
Ari. One wavelength!
no.
It only took us 81
no.
sessions.
And you both die.
Ah, no.
Damn it, none of us are even there to make fun of him.
I know, shocking. Sapphire somewhere in the force.
You just hear like a set of panpipes. Not panpipes, like a what do you call it, a trumpet?
Nah,
flute, I don't know.
set it out, we're going panpipes.
Panpipes.
Cannon.
Old oak.
Cannon. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when Ari hugs Xandria, Xandria will reciprocate and hug him back. And whilst hugging him, just
Harry, holding Xandria in this hug is being in the presence of summer. It is, for a brief moment, you feel energized. The warmth of the sun, the smell of the fields. It is an incredible experience to be it's an incredible experience.
I am the oasis.
I am the oasis, the herald of summer.
Mwah.
But it does fade away as you revert back to being horrifically possessed.
While Andrea is hugging Ari, she'll just very quietly, whilst kind of like reaching a hand round to like the back of his head, just to like hold him a little closer, because she can see how exhausted he is, and she knows what it's like. I think it is wise that from now on you do not sleep alone, just in case this happens again.
Kind of nodding to her shoulder.
And I think it would be best if you had something to eat. And perhaps we find Ruby and get her to make one of her special brews.
That actually sounds amazing.
And Xandria will pull back from the hug, but she'll grab Ari's hand and just gently lead him out of the room.
Okay. But
Yeah, weren't expecting that, were you little shit?
Neither were our 4 million fans. We've all been sat here waiting for death and initiative. Look at Kess is literally spitting.
Yeah, what?
Ruby, in the library, Sai he's made 2 piles. One seems to be smaller than the other, and you quickly figure out one is what he deems not to be useful, and the smaller pile is the things he deems to be useful. It will have been a good hour has passed. While you've been sat there, you've been doing your stuff. Sandra's gone to RA, Sapphire's gone and got some breakfast and such. The only 2 people that have actually sat down to eat, Sapphire, are yourself and the Grey Orc. Everyone else still seems to be prepping and putting stuff out there, and they kind of eat as they go rather than actually take a seat.
Right at a sensible time, lay about.
But yeah, and Cicerin turns to you, Ruby, and he's, I'll be honest, to my surprise, I've actually found something about this Orcarian person, and there is some things of the Peacock, which I did expect, but I do have some information. If you want to go over it now or later, or
Yep. Just puts down what she's doing, and it's that patented Ruby.
Yeah.
You have her full attention. There is no escaping the full attention, but it's not in like the creepy way she was focusing it on Ari the day before.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm genuinely interested in what you have to say. You have my full attention, kind of.
Okay. Peacock or tree? He tries to look like he's made of funny, but he's not confident in it.
Dealer's choice.
We'll go with Peacock. And he pulls out, and it's a bit like an art book. Flicking through these, there seems to be varying sizes of parchment used or canvas used to paint these images of a peacock, and they've kind of just been then bound together. So it's a very awkward looking book. But as he's going through it, and he's kind of just holding it in the crook of his arm, and he's demonstrating awkwardly these different pictures of peacocks, and they are in various stages of their full presentation of their feathers and such. And there are small paragraphs and scriptures all next to them. What you do recognise is some of the writing, even though you don't recognise the writing, because of your short time with Xerxes, the mentor, you do recognise that some of the symbols and glyphs and stuff are celestial. And they not necessarily know what they may say, but you recognise almost a style of script. And he's kind of just showing it, and he will explain that the peacock is a deity in Atoria, which is thousands of miles from here, but you will have heard of Atoria. It is one of their 12 deities. There was a time when everyone would wear armour with motifs of the peacock, Most of it's ceremonial, but all were innately blessed with the gifts of arcane sorcerers and such. He will tell you of just almost a creature of awe in the Vey dynasty. Peacocks are to be untouched, left alone. The whole, if they cross the road, you kind of step back sort of thing. They are a very much, not necessarily worshipped, but highly respected creature. There are he tells you, thousands of tales and myths and such regarding peacocks in the dynasty. That he's very aware that are tales and myths, but he throws in all stories come from truth and such like this. Tells you about that there's only a few nations that ever have much to do with peacocks. The dynasty, Atoria, and a place called Chokruani, which is far in the west, which you've probably never heard of. Yeah, you've probably never heard of it because you're so far in the east. But yes, and that's what he tells you about peacocks and such, that they are a rare creature. When they are spoken about by people that are aware of them from their lands or wherever, they spoke with high regard. The dynasty treats them as a creature of awe. The Atorians treat them as a celestial entity. They see a peacock, they think it's a sign from the gods, as it were. Do you have any questions regarding the peacocks of Cycerin?
Other than being pretty, is there anything special about their feathers?
Yes. Alchemists have claimed to do wondrous things with them. They are, for the best part, what some would call a supernatural creature. So you can use all manner of their being to do wonderful things with alchemy or magical spells. Some smiths have claimed the beauty of their feathers to enhance their weapons and armor. Not that you should do that or anything of a peacock or anything, but they do hold magical properties.
So this one being nearly 20 years old wouldn't be surprising. And is it disrespectful that I've got it in my hair?
Well, did you take it from a peacock? How did you come by it would probably determine the respect of it or disrespect.
I'm a foundling, and I was told this was found with me.
Oh.
So it is possible that as a toddler with little grabby hands I did, but I wouldn't remember.
They allegedly do not fall idly. The leaves of Lothlorien. But
Glad you said it, because I was thinking
yeah, as soon as I said the words, I was like, "What have I done?" Hello, Frodo.
Tell me, where is Candy?
You're worshipping. You're a cleric of. But yes, from the small knowledge I have, if you acquired the feather in a nefarious way, then yes, it would be disrespectful. But I believe you would have known about it far earlier. But as a babe in arms, to hold such an item is, maybe it was a gift. Have you checked the feather for properties or tried to use it in any of your... Well, try to use it in anything.
Nope.
Do you have any of your friends I could look at the feather for you if I wouldn't do any damage to it, and you could be there and watch me do it. I wouldn't take it or anything. But I could check if it held magic.
So I've got. Not for now, I don't think. All this travelling around we're doing, maybe we'll meet a peacock and I can just ask. What of Ocarian?
That's amazing. Oh, Ocarian, and he turns to the other few piles. This is like 2 books, smaller books, almost novella, but they're a bit more pristine, and my camera's doing amazing. Give me a moment. Bam. Don't go blurry. Don't go blurry. The books are a bit more pristine, a bit more well looked after. Parchment nicely organised, the binding nice leather. They're old and dusty, but obviously Cicerin has cleaned them up best he can. And he takes them both, and one is quite clearly a children's fairy tale book. Like there is some etching in the leather on the front of younglings around an oak tree on the front of it. As he opens it, he essentially goes to the title of every couple of pages. There's a new title of, a child, anything, the wolf and the oak, the dragon and the oak, the dance around the oak tree. Just maybe 10-15 titles of stories, very short stories, that refer to a magical oak tree that comes to life and helps those that are dancing around it, paying homage to it. There is, unsurprisingly to yourself, a couple of Towan related stories in there. I mean, having an oak tree reach out to folk in need is exactly what the oak does. It is the protector of the Towan Highlands. The word Ocarian is only mentioned once or twice, and it speaks of the ancient oak trees that once protected those new life forms that were coming into Colossus, the very young, which will be very old now, but at the time the very young races of the world, and they relied on the great Ocarian trees to be their protectors. They used the bark as their armour, the branches as the shelter from the harsh weathers and such, as the primordial forces of Colossus were being formed and such. And Ocarian is mentioned in that sort of ye olde protective manner. The other book is a bit like a diary. I found this kind of just in and amongst things, no organisation to it, but it is written by a person almost speaking to themselves. They were, from what I can see so far, they were a travelling warrior, a mercenary, an adventurer, many terms they've used, but they were seeking out the realms of the Fae. They came across many moments where the Fae were in hostile scenarios with humans and elves and dragons, as according to some of the pages. It's definitely old. But yes, it says here that they found their home in the forests of Copper, and there they stayed. One called Ocarian trained them to protect the forests and learn the pathways between the realms, and one day maybe they would be a guardian, is what they hoped for. But the diary stops here. I don't really understand this translation, but it was a title to somebody called Colleen. Who it seems hailed from your neck of the woods.
It's a Toan name. I mean, Copper Forest, as it is now, I know. It was a place Okarian would have spent a lot of time, but it's... I knew him, I met him. The others knew him. It's... And she's sort of like... The hand sort of like wraps around the acorn, hanging around her neck, and a finger sort of like wrapping the chain.
The diary speaks very highly of him, and Cicerin passes you the diary.
She'll take it very, very carefully and put it next to her things, because she's thinking, at this point, she's thinking Toodles would probably find this interesting if she's allowed to take it away from here. But
I don't know if that helped, but I can keep looking if you want.
it helps to know him. Again, she sort of like, when she talks about him, just sort of like touches the acorn. But there was a mind flayer.
Cicerin kind of adjusts on the stool.
Yeah. You know of them? You've...
I am aware of such creatures. I've never faced one. That's not my...
Don't. Don't. Well, it... Just, like, gestures to her face, like, fingers spread, like, to indicate tentacles. And it was eating me. Not me. And to scream for help. He was the only person I could think of who's this powerful, and something answered, and sometimes now I can talk to him. Others can't see him. And if he could see him, they would say, because, well, Xandria would probably have something sarcastic to say to him, and he'd have plenty of sarcastic... He's, in fact, given me sarcastic messages to give back to her.
Does sound like Sapphire.
Sorry, I said Xandria.
I know.
Sapphire thinks he's pals. They're great pals with Sapphire. They get on great. But
yeah.
If I think of him and I want to ask something, then I can, but no one else can.
And that's what you
and
meant
I don't
by...
know if I'm... I don't know if I'm going mad. Because, well, at this point, either I'm going mad or everyone else has gone mad. Or if I'm doing some kind of magic that I shouldn't be messing with. Because if I'm doing some kind of magic that I shouldn't be messing with, I want to stop before I become a wizard.
When you...
Because there's no good in that.
I don't think you're a wizard, Ruby. If... I don't think... You're right. There's no good in wizards. When you do talk to him, does magic happen? Sometimes?
Now trying to think, because I haven't called on him for anything other than conversation and advice yet,
if you've
have I?
ever cast a cleric spell, then you will have had a presence of Okarian. If that helps you answer. Interpret it as you so see fit,
So,
but yeah.
should we say, well, I've not spoken to him and then magic things have happened, but sometimes when I do magic, spells that I've only learned and tried more recently, it's like he's not there, but it's, you know, when you, if you see something that makes you think of someone you know, like if you walked past a market stall and it had all blue cloth on it, and it would make you think of Sapphire because he always wears that colour blue.
Or if I saw a peacock feather and thought of you.
Right. So sometimes, like the newer magics I know, which I thought, because was the whole things with the wings, it's like it's has him in mind.
And sorry if this is obvious and I've missed it, but it's him or Carrion, and he points at the diary.
Oh yeah.
That you, and you say they didn't die but they passed. Was that what you said?
That's kind of how it was explained. Like he and the Lady of the Ash, they gave of their what was of their life, in the way that magic is life, you know, it's what was them that is and they gave that into the Copper Forest.
So Lady
And
Ash, does she have a longer name? There is a Shaldria mentioned in Kalane's diary.
That's her.
But he never met her. Akarian spoke of her with fondness. I know he's not the most approachable person, but in regards to those that pass but don't pass and can be and help those that are still here, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Lord Meter is incredibly well versed in such things.
If he's time, I may ask.
If it's about such things, you'll probably find him more attentive than somebody asking him for a look at his sword or asking him to write personalised calligraphy and such. You could see Cicerone's not enjoyed the experience of being around a very famous Veer warrior.
Well, as I say, if he's time, because there's so much to be doing, and this silly old bugger getting in my head sometimes is the least of anyone's worried.
That's not far off what Kalane says as well. You should, if you get time, to read it, or I wouldn't mind reading it for you or with you, or I can find. You should. Kalane has a lot to say about Akarian, and as you say, if you want to learn about Akarian, at least you know you have something. He seems to have spent a lot of time with Kalane. I hope it helps.
It does. I will ask the mentors here if I might borrow this book, because there's a friend of Akarian's I think would enjoy seeing this as well. But I've left the others unsupervised for at least an hour now, which means somebody's in trouble somewhere. So
from what Sapphire says, probably Ari
or Sapphire. 5 minutes I left him alone once, came back, body empty. Spirit God knows where. Oh, he comes back eventually, but
yes, yeah. Well, if you ever want stories on Sapphire, I have plenty.
Oh yeah, no, the smile Ruby gives him there is, you know how, as well as being the protector, the oak tree is also the trickster?
Garen is definitely a trickster.
That's the, given the brand of clericking we're doing over here, it's that younger sibling glee of oh goody ammunition.
And
So Chill suggests that they have a chat about Sapphire while they stroll back and make another pot of tea.
cool. And if you do want me to look at the peacock feather, I have small skill in identifying arcane items and such. And he'll walk with you.
I search for a break.
Cool. As you go towards where other folk, you see Ari and Xandria walking towards the breakfast hall, holding hands. And just briefly through the doorway, you can see Sapphire at a table filled with breakfast goodies. Sat not too far away from a dashing, charming Greyhawk. And you see the mentors and the other students, and they are all now taking a seat around Sapphire on other tables and such. And like before, there's only 4 mentors and 8 students, so it's not. There's a lot more food than there is people. And you are all in the dining hall, sitting where you want to sit. Sapphire, you see Ruby and Cicerin enter the dining hall, followed by Ari and Xandria holding hands. Unless Xandria quickly throws his hand away when she sees people. You saw nothing.
Yep.
Rude.
So there's like grin comes over Sapphire's face when the first two walk in. Grin just gets bigger, full on lion teethy grin.
Ruby mirrors it back.
Behind Ruby, Sai is once again beetroot. So, are you sitting together, or what do you wish to do?
Yeah, Ruby walks over, sits down, because she and Sai have been chatting on the walk over, sits down in front of Sapphire and goes, right, tell me about the temple chickens then, Sapphire.
Doesn't say a word, punches Sai in the arm.
He did that on the day as well. Well, I
You're
never told her why you were in there. I just told you what happened afterwards.
Look, you're visiting. You're supposed to make me look good.
Just shakes his head.
And he like leans over, so he's almost like on Cicerin's shoulder, and is like, so.
I like apples. And just reaches over and takes an apple from a basket and starts eating on an apple.
You need a bigger set of apples, boy. So what's up with you two? He says to Xandria and Ari walking in. Everything okay? You're looking very chummy. I thought you were going to get yelled at.
Yeah, me too. But I just kind of shrug and sit down and pull like some food towards him, and he's probably gonna probably show kind of more appetite than I think he's probably shown in quite a while. He tired boy.
Xandria just kind of like picks a piece of fruit. Doesn't even look at Sapphire, but after the comment of thought you're going to get yelled at. Yelling achieves nothing.
Wisdom.
So fun though. I get yelled at all the bloody time. Like it's a bit of a teenagery kind of huff.
Yes,
I got
but you
yelled at
also
enough yesterday.
aren't inflicted with a horrible, deadly disease. So I'm going to cut Ari some slack for once.
Oh, rough night.
Xandria just
Yeah.
looks at Ari.
Ruby, as ever, when she sits down at any table like this, will have found like some kind of receptacle of hot water, which has probably been put out for people to have tea with, and will have started like taking out little packets and like, oh, what am I making people this morning? She stops, puts a few back, starts taking out different ones.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, that was a time. Couldn't move. Rough night. And I'll kind of leave it at that and just like
Eat
pull some more
breakfast.
food towards him.
Yeah. Get some more
So-
Weetabix.
I think that Soul Taker may have gone full dark side on us. I'm not quite sure why yet.
Well-known Colossan terminology.
Hey, it fits. You don't need
Yeah,
to
I bet.
go
Yeah.
dark side.
I think I've said the Force 5 times already.
Why would you say that, Sapphire?
Okay, so we've had discussions lately about how my astral projection is a little dangerous. So I very carefully did not do that last night. I meditated before bed, regular meditation, and I could see my sister hiding under a rock in Viconia, crying her eyes out. And as soon as I kind of started approaching, she could get some kind of sense from me. So I solidified the connection a bit. She was trying to hide something from me. She was very standoffish. At one point, when I moved around to try and see what it was she was hiding, she straight up held a spear up to keep me away. And I told you before that when I saw, like, her job in our tribe was specifically... That wasn't her job when I left, but she has stepped up into the role of guiding people, guiding souls, doing the funerary rites, things like that, hence her name. It became a lot more literal, obviously, like I said before, when I saw her and she had chains of dead people's souls dragging out behind her. She doesn't have that anymore. I'm assuming it's related, but she does now have a massive sack of what looked to... I mean, didn't see inside it, but there was light emanating from it, and it looked like there were enlarged marbles, maybe, that were giving off this light. But I mean, I could be barking up the entirely wrong tree, but there was no chain of souls, and suddenly she has this bag full of glowing crystalline things.
Couple more tea packets go back into the bag.
I need the strong stuff.
Some in like slightly more serious colours come out.
Yeah, at some point Sapphire's like not even doesn't like necessarily look directly at Ruby, but does take a cup of tea and is so used to it now.
From behind you, Sapphire, you hear, they are spirit stones. Looking over your shoulder,
Ears flatten a bit.
the voice of Mita Yoshi. Yasushi. Yoshi and Luigi turn up. Mita Yasushi.
Sapphire immediately stands up, bows.
Mita puts her arm out, which is a thing that doesn't happen. You don't put your arm out to someone. Please sit. And Mita will join you for breakfast. And sits next to you, Sapphire, like you're in a tavern together.
Yeah, Sapphire's not good at hiding most emotions. Sapphire is sat there like eyes aren't leaving Mita, like, oh my god.
And Lord Mita is in full armour as when they arrived. You're not surprised, Sapphire. That's kind of the rep Mita has. Goes everywhere with blade ready and armour to protect and all that. That's part of his brand, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But never wears a helmet. Cocky bastard. And just start eating breakfast. Who is Soul Taker?
My biological sister from...
I think we went through this. He knows Soul Taker, and they talked to you about Soul Taker, and he told you about your nephew. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Niece, wasn't it?
Yep, niece that Sapphire has not mentioned since. Very pointedly. Yes. Yeah. As I mentioned, I don't know how much you heard, Lord Mita, but yes, she was ferrying souls in a rather unusual way, and now carries these soul stones, quite a lot of them from what I could tell.
If she carries spirit stones, she can use them the way you would use your key to enhance your abilities, or a sorcerer would tap into the arcane weave and throw a fireball, or a druid, and he respectfully gestures to Ruby, would call upon the healing of nature. If your sister carries spirit stones, she has access to a magic that is as potent as the others in Colossus.
It uses up souls, though? Sapphire looks like legitimately disgusted.
It consumes one, yes. It is captured within the stone. There will be a command word for the stone. Upon uttering the words and breaking the stone, your sister will be able to wield whatever magics said spirit is attuned to. And it is broad. Not good.
No, it's a corruption of everything she stood for and everything her role was.
Is she taking them somewhere? Or were they about her person as throwing knives would be on a bandolier?
They were in a closed Hessian-like sack on her belt, and she tried to hide them from me.
If she is delivering them, it means she is ahead of us on at least one part of the three that the True require. If she is merely holding on to these particular spirit stones as a weapon, maybe we are in luck.
Had that been a question a few months ago, I may have said that she was probably holding on to them as a bargaining chip. I'm not so sure anymore. She was she was involved with the demons. I knew that. We knew that. I at the time didn't know why she would. She said that Viconia would be next after Ravenholm, and she would prefer Ravenholm to go than Viconia. But this was also before I knew she had a daughter.
If she carries the soul of nations, we need to separate her from said soul of nations.
There's a shiver on Sapphire, and all of his fur is starting to stand up a little bit.
They have Cicerin. If your sister carries the soul of nations, that only leaves the curse of the Darklings. I have spoken with Xerxes, and nods across to the scaled elven mentor. If you all, and he kind of holds back on the flow of words he's just used, give me permission, I can use it to reach out to Malika of Summer. But you are to be given first refusal of the use of the orb. It is a powerful artifact. I can ask the same questions by visiting the Oasis. So if you wish to use it to speak to an entity that is not achievable by travel, please do. If not, and with your permission, it will save me time using it to speak to Malika, at which point my blade and spear will be ready for wherever you need it to be.
Ruby
We
is still
said last
sliding.
night.
Sorry? What did you say, Ari?
As we said last night, I think it best if you speak to Xandria first before conversing with Malika. They are a difficult one.
Which would have been my next point of conversation, depending on your answer to whether I can use the orb or not. And what did you say, Ruby?
Ruby was still handing out tea and me to get to him, but as she passes one to Xandria, she says, which do you think is wiser for him to do, Sandria, to speak to Malika face to face, or to speak to her with the orb?
Although it would be troublesome, as a sign of respect, I highly suggest you visit in person and do not use the orb. Malika is not one for long-winded conversations, nor is she one to be disturbed without being informed that she is having a conversation. So whilst it may be troublesome to go in person to the Oasis, your life would be safer doing so.
He nods towards you. Then the orb is yours. And if you would do me the honour of giving me some of your time, I would like to speak to you regarding Malika. He obviously aims at Alexandria. And he carries on eating his fruit salad. Sai has not said shit. He's on like his 8th apple at this point. Just like, oh my god, the world's going to end.
Ruby will, sort of, while it seems that everyone has a moment as she's handing him a tea, I'm going to, repeat the whole thing that we've said, but ask of Mita what Sai has suggested to ask of him.
He lets you go through the conversation you had and the suggestions of Sai and what you said. Sounds like you are a paladin, a holy warrior, a cleric, a priest. There are those that can truly hold on to a spirit and connect with them. And in times of need, whether it be a fresh tankard of water or a divine fire called from the skies, will lend you their aid. The Sicarian you speak of, you are right, they have passed, but it was a passing, not that they have passed. They remain. Do you tell me about the diary and all that, or just...
Yeah, she's probably actually got the diary with her, because she does still intend on asking if she can borrow it to show Toodles. She's also, of course, Ruby has an eidetic memory, so she has actually looked at most of it with the intention of she can copy what she's seen, even if she can't,
you can follow the patterns.
Read, right? She can repeat the
Draw the
patterns
picture,
down and have someone read it back to her later, but she's like, no. Clerics commune with gods. And she sort of looks at Xandria in a kind of back me up on this kind of way. She's like, Okarian's not a god.
Clerics commune with divine entities. What a person calls that divine entity or labels it with could be God, could be tree, could be a grain of sand. But from what you've described, from what some of the diary says, it does appear that Akarian holds enough, whatever we call magic in this world, to keep his spirit here, at least for one who required his aid. And therefore, a divine entity. One that can be called upon by clerics and paladins and priests and divine souls, all manner of folk that are able to reach out to these entities. You carry an acorn.
hand sort of like wraps around, like almost guiltily, like, oh god, like, oh yeah.
Most folk that travel a holy path carry a symbol of that divine entity. I believe, Ruby, of the Towan Highlands, you are a cleric.
Oh my god, I gave one of these to each of my brothers. I've started a cult. I gave one of these to James Irwin. He does not need magical power.
I will say there is a difference between following a divine entity and being blessed with their aid. One can call out to a Carian.
Oh, you've not met either of them. They'll get on like thieves in the night. They'll right up each other's street.
Carries on eating the fruit.
Yeah, that's it. No, there is now the error 404.
Yeah.
Error 404. Ruby no longer found.
Blue screen.
Yeah, Ruby literally just sits there blue screening out like
Ariel kind of like
full
touch
on
her on
crisis.
the arm and just be like, "Yeah, but I don't pretend to understand the god stuff. Like they brought Zandria back, and Ultra was a godly person, but I don't pretend to understand it. But like, Akari's pretty cool. You know, at least he's like chill. Not like the Red Lady.
Not like the woodcutter. Sandra says with disdain.
Yeah. Staring at the woodcutter symbology all over it.
Yeah.
I hate that prick. But by Christ, he can smite.
Andrea now sat there thinking, I wonder, can you change teams when you're a paladin? Can you like swap gods?
Can I swap gods, please?
Cicerin leans into Mita. There was a word I didn't understand in the diary. Ruby, could I show Lord Mita?
Just, like absent-mindedly slides the book across.
Still blue screen.
Yeah, little bit. She's sort of wondering because it's like what very little Ruby knows of religion. She's like, so if I try to contact him right now and bollock him for becoming a god, is that going to end super badly for me, or is he just going to laugh at me because I can cope with that? Because I just
If Ruby's saying this out loud, Sandra will, without looking at her still eating a breakfast score, he'll probably laugh at you.
Give me a second.
Has it been mentioned that this is Colleen's diary or not?
Not yet.
Like in no. Okay, that's why I was
A
like,
diary.
this is diary. A
no
diary.
name.
It's fine.
Where are you, bastard? Where are you?
Too many documents.
I got so much. You know when you're like, oh, let's make a world. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's make a world, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Where are you? There we go. So, as Mita takes a diary and reads it, he takes a moment, and it is unknown to him, but immediately. But you can see that he's trying to work it out. And he says, the diary belongs to Kalain the Lancelord of the Towan Highlands, from the clan Gorm.
Does that clan name mean anything to Ruby?
It is a gnomish clan of the bear. Which
Wait.
Ruby would know. So the halflings follow the religion of the trees and the
Drydacker.
and the
yeah.
gnomes follow the pantheon of like animals and such.
Yeah.
And the bear is as closely linked to oak as they could get. The clan is new to Ari and Xandria and Sapphire. Sapphire, do you ever meet Colleen?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you've got his thing braided.
Oh yeah, you've got his braid.
Oh,
yeah. Fuck it. You turn into
Of course I
a
fucking
Turn
did. I
into
turned
a
into
giant
his runic
bear.
bear form, yeah. Fucking hell, yeah.
We
That's
need
why
to
it made us
play-
laugh when
we
you
need to
actually
play
got it
more
because you got the
regularly.
bear bit.
Yeah, out of everyone, if I can get the
It
turn
was
into a bear.
Only a year and a half ago. But yeah, so it's Colleen the Lancelord from the Tone Highlands, Clan Gorm, Gorm, which Ruby knows to be the gnomish clan of the bear.
So she sort of like, I'm guessing this news has brought some looks to the faces of the others.
They will.
Ari's trying to get
will
a
probably-
word in.
Probably
definitely.
misread that as blank and say, well, the Gorm is the bear clan, like where you met my family, and we have and the halflings, and we have the Drydacker, which is the different tree spirits. Well, the gnomes have somewhat similar, but with animals. And well, put it this way, a son of the bear becoming a son of the oak, or a brother of the oak, that's not a big stretch in terms of personality and values. And
But he was the original Lancelot that we met before you were here, Ruby. But we met Colleen. We fought with Colleen. How is he in
fought with,
So you
fought
got his
alongside,
diary?
or fought with.
alongside?
Oh, alongside, yeah. His like points to the hair braid. This the thing that lets me turn into a bear. It's him. It's his bear form. It was his magic.
He passed, and then like
You left in there.
Xandria and
Yeah.
Kess became the Lancelot. You've got his diary?
Sort of like half turns to Simon's like, well, it was.
He
Yeah.
did it.
No, not like she's not pointing
Yeah,
outside.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
like pointing towards the library, but it's sort of like she didn't do any of the librarying, so
Yeah.
she's sort of like
It's-
turning
it's-
to him for confirmation that it was found.
Yeah, Sai will be like, I mean, it could be interpreted as a diary, but most of it just comes across as note taking. I mean, it depends how someone keeps a diary, really. But yes, it was in the library.
I was gonna ask if I could borrow it and take it to Toodles. Just because it talks so much about O'Carrion and Toodles and O'Carrion was friends, because I didn't know who Colleen. But if he was her Lancelord as well, then maybe that's extra reason she'd like it.
I don't believe, just for the other players, Colleen was Toodle's Lancelot.
No, he was a Kari.
No.
He was
He
Lancelot.
was Jezreet,
before
the
Toodles.
original Jezreet.
Yeah,
Just
Jezreet.
Yeah.
that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, Toodles became the new Jezreet, and you guys became the Lancelot.
Yes, that's right.
Just for you lot, whilst Ruby's talking. A lot's happened in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
We have lost track.
Remember when you just killed dire rats in a tavern?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we're doing?
Ruby just asked whether she could borrow the diary.
Well, there's.
Oh no, there's no.
There's none of
Ruby
the
voiced intent to you
yeah.
to ask one of the mentors if she could.
Alright.
Because she thought Toodles would like to see it for varying reasons.
Is there?
I can lean into the mentors to give you permission, if that would help, Ruby.
Ruby looks slightly guilty and leans in and goes, I've memorised how it looks anyway. I can probably just copy it out if they want it, if they don't want me to take it away. If they don't want to lend it out, it's fine.
He leans into you, and there's a tiny little smirk that Cycerin and Sapphire have never seen. But where's the fun in that? And he sits back up, all regal-like and proper. And carries on eating his fruit salad. And Cycerin looks at Sapphire like,
What the hell? What?
checking for possession.
I guess when you meet your heroes, you get to know them better.
Never meet your heroes.
Well, we have a use of. We've still got a use of the orb offered. So if anyone can think of a good, worthwhile use for it, now that we're not. I thought Malika was a good shout, but you're right. If it's going to offend her, then going in person is better. But it just seems too good a chance to pass up while we're here.
Ruby just kind of gives like this
bobblehead.
just this blank bobble-headed shrug, just like the next minor inconvenience is going to get just this outpouring of every mental thing that has happened that is impossible. Like 4 months ago, my job was to look after like one meadow.
And here we are, on the cusp of the end of the world.
I've walked the valley. It was, at this point, it might as well just be ranting out loud. Just like, well, I've walked the valley. I've walked through the wall. I'm not human, and I don't remember what the word is, but I know it sounds like the halfling word for messenger. I turned that silly old bugger into some kind of god. I've got a unicorn in my pack.
You sat here making tea.
Well, the tea doesn't talk back. It's like
Give it to
I can't. I'm supposed to go in. It's blood pillars and death gods and.
Are you saying all this out loud?
Yeah, she's lost it now.
I was like,
rambling.
She tried a hard reset and it's just like everything is just.
Or you'll just kind of like put a hand on her shoulder again and just be like, it's fine. Fine. And just kind of like pat her a little bit.
Just.
We'll be okay.
You can talk to an ally or an enemy. You also don't have to use it.
I think we need to think carefully, because it will connect with anybody, if I remember correctly. From
Anything,
yesterday.
anywhere. If it is an entity of Colossus within any realm, you can communicate with it.
I know there was talk of speaking to one of the three aspects.
It feels like, I know we need to think about it carefully, but I like the spite of it. They keep nabbing me for conversations. As long as we've got a good reason for it. 'Cause I'm not saying just to do it willy-nilly, but I do like the idea of dropping in on them for a change when they were uninvited.
the look that is just coming across the table at you. And she sort of like she looks at me and like the Sapphire and sigh, and it's just like, do you see what I put up with on a daily basis? Like, do you see what I'm contending with here? Not said out loud.
Sai looks back at you as if
thanks.
relief of not being the only one. Well, I finished my breakfast, so I'm going to go for a walk on the ramparts. If you do me the honour of joining me, Xandria Summerbreeze, I would like to talk to you of your archfare.
Of course.
Unsure of a title to use. And Mita will leave the table and bow to you all. You can
Sapphire stands and bows back.
Sai follows Sapphire up, and then Sapphire's already sitting down when Sai stood up and like half gets to bow down. It's like fucking timing.
Ruby does a sort of little, like, almost like a little mouse. Little head.
So that was, yeah. Well, you lot are chatty over breakfast, aren't you?
There's been a lot going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know what else I can do here other than if you can think of anything, let me know. But I think we'll probably be leaving soon to go to Surut. Have you stayed sat, Xandria?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not going to stay to, I thought you wanted to speak to, the dragon and her minder.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
Natafrin and,
Corset elf.
Altarian.
Yeah.
I can remember the names. I wonder why that is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We should. I will remind him that we need to stay a bit longer. This kind of sits there. You get a little dig in the side, Sapphire.
I think they're cool. Perrin's a bit of a dick, but Catherine's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a bit of an ego bruise there, wasn't there, Sapphire? Well,
I'll kind of look at Xandria and just be like, so are you gonna go speak to them about Malika?
Yes, I suppose I should. And Xandria just gets up. And off she goes.
as soon as Xandria leaves, you feel it. I mean, you've all noticed now since the swap just how fear-like Xandria's aura is regarding
she
someone.
walks past Ruby, all but like leans into it.
Yeah. Orderless summer. Just like those little cartoons that float on the scent. But yeah, so as Xandria leaves, Sai noticeably relaxes when Lord Meter left, and again when Xandria leaves, like it's way above his pay grade to be in the presence of anything radiating an aura of anything. Okay, well, I'm gonna go speak to Xerxes, gestures over to the mentor, and see if there's anything else they might want me to look into in their libraries and such, and see if I can find anything. And I'll keep an eye out for the Peacocks as well, Ruby.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy your breakfast. And he does like a half-assed, and then punches Sapphire in the arm, like realizes it was a mistake, and then waddles off.
More like breaks knuckles on Sapphire's bicep.
Just snaps his entire arm on Sapphire. But yeah, you feign pain, Sapphire, as you've always done. He knows it did nothing. You know it did nothing, but you got to keep consistency. And it's just you three at the table.
At the word breakfast, Ruby's kind of like blink like something sensible has penetrated, and she goes, "Oh, I'm gonna take Cass up some breakfast. I haven't seen him yet." And she just sort of like gets up and starts.
Just filling plates to take to Cass.
Yeah. Grabs a tray from somewhere or someone.
Ari, in your mind, in your magical mind, you hear a familiar voice. Aristotle, could you inform the residents that myself and the Tathrin will be here within the hour? And that's it, just cuts off.
Yep. Oh, it's like he was thinking of us. Altarian and the Tatrin are on the way within the hour.
Yeah, he's still an asshole.
In your mind.
Oh shit!
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
And on that note, we shall leave the session there. Where we will pick up next week, Sandria's conversation with Lord Meter. Sushi. Ruby's and Kesfion's lovely catch-up. And Artarian and Atathrin turning up to the Dar Shaladusin. Yay! Thank you for the raids, thank you for the follows, thank you for the first time chats, Chrissy Dina. It's been cool, thank you very much. It's a bit rough at the moment, everyone's got loads of work on and moving around and moving house and all sorts of good stuff, so our consistency is shot to shit. But soon we'll be back on schedule and blasting out as many sessions as we can and seeing if we can save the world from the truth. But for now, say goodnight, players.
Good night,
Good night,
players.
See you later, folks. Bye-bye.
Players.